Most Indian women going through menopause don't get much guidance from their doctor. In fact, about 85% say they've never had a proper conversation about it. That's not just unfortunate, it's risky because when you're left to figure out everything by yourself, especially something like HRT, it's easy for the fear to take over. And that fear can quietly stand between you and the relief you actually need and deserve. This video is for the high-achieving Indian women who are considering HRT but feel unsure. Maybe you've heard strong warnings about it, maybe you've heard glowing reviews for it, or maybe you've just heard silence. I'm going to walk you through what HRT really is, what's the science behind it, what science says about it, and how to figure out if it's the right option for you. If we haven't met before, hi, my name is Preet. I'm a certified menopause life coach, and I work especially with Indian women who want clear, practical guidance, not coaching talk, not medical lectures, but actual practical talk to help them get through menopause, perimenopause. So before we dive in, I'd love for you to download my menopause symptoms relief cheat sheet. It's a simple tool that gives you easy ways to clear your brain fog, calm your mood swings, sleep better, take control of your weight without wasting any time on random tips that just don't work. You'll find the link below in the description. Let's begin with where all the confusion around HRT really started. So when I first heard about HRT, I felt very hesitant and I only heard negative things about it. So I'd heard words like cancer, weight gain, once you start, you can't stop. So I stayed away from it until my symptoms got really, really bad. And that's when I decided to actually look into it. So I read up all the research on it. I asked questions. I spoke to more than just one doctor. And I realized that the fear I had been carrying was built on half-truths and confusion. So for me, HRT became something very necessary. And I wish I had understood this much sooner. If you're feeling cautious, you're not alone. A lot of that fear started back in 2002 with a large research study called the Women's Health Initiative. You may have heard about it. The headlines made it sound so alarming that HRT increases breast cancer risk, HRT causes heart attacks, and so on. And the doctors started to avoid it, and so the women were scared to even ask about it. But what's often left out is that the study had major limitations. It focused on older women, many in their late 60s or 70s, who were far past the usual age for starting HRT. Many of them already had health conditions, and the type of HRT used in that study isn't commonly used anymore today. When newer studies looked at younger women, especially those who started HRT within 10 years of menopause, the results were very different. In many cases, the benefits of HRT outweighed the risks, but by then the fear had set in and spread. That's why HRT safety for Indian women is still a confusing subject. That confusion is made worse by something else. This cultural idea that you're supposed to just push through it, that menopause is natural and if you're strong enough, you'll manage it without any help. But the truth is that untreated symptoms can affect your sleep, your memory, your relationships, your work, your overall being, and there's no prize for suffering. You don't have to prove anything to anybody by staying silent. So let's slow things down and start with the basics. HRT stands for hormone replacement therapy. It's a way of giving your body back the estrogen and sometimes in some women progesterone that it stops making during menopause. That drop in hormones is what causes symptoms like hot flashes, brain fog, night sweats, low mood, and vaginal dryness. By replacing those hormones in a controlled, steady way, HRT can help you ease those symptoms. It's available in a few forms: pills, patches, gels, and vaginal creams. Some women need both estrogen and progesterone, especially if they're still having their uterus intact. Other women might only need estrogen, like myself. It depends on your health history and on your specific needs. Now, as an Indian woman, your body, your diet, and your environment might be quite different from the women these studies were based on. You might eat a lot of lentils, haldi, or soya. You might live in a joint family where privacy is limited and stress is high, or you might not have access to a doctor who takes menopause seriously, which frankly there's a lot of, or even know how to treat it. And most of the medical research on HRT has focused on Western women, and that's why you need to look at all the data and then apply it to your lifestyle, to your context, your situation. So now let's talk about the 3 fears that usually come up first: cancer, weight gain, and the idea that once you start HRT, you're stuck on it forever. So first, cancer. Some types of HRT do carry a slight increased risk of breast cancer. This is especially true for combinations that include both estrogen and progesterone, and if they are used long term, typically more than 5 years. But that risk is still lower than the risk you would get from drinking alcohol every day. And it's much lower than the risk from a sedentary lifestyle. Next, weight gain. The weight changes that happen around menopause are usually caused by age, stress, sleep disruption, and metabolism, not by HRT itself. In fact, for some women, HRT especially helps them maintain a healthier weight because they're sleeping better and they're feeling more active. And what about the dependency, you might be thinking? Well, no, HRT isn't addictive. You can stop it under medical guidance. Some women do. Others choose to stay on it for a longer period of time because they feel better and they need it, like myself. And they are making that choice fully informed. This is where it helps to understand the difference between risk and danger. Risk means something might happen. Danger means it's likely to harm you given your personal situation. Think of it this way: crossing the road is risky, but if you look both ways, wait for the light, and then walk across carefully, you'll probably be fine. It's the same with HRT. It carries some risk, definitely yes, but that risk has to be understood in context and in context of your life, of your medical history. So, how old are you? What symptoms are you experiencing? Do you have any health conditions? What does your daily life look like right now? And how much is menopause really affecting you? These are questions that matter when you're deciding whether HRT is a good fit for you, good option for you. And that's why HRT safety for Indian women isn't a simple yes or no. It's very personal for each woman. Some women feel great on HRT. Their sleep improves, their energy comes back, they feel more like themselves. I'm one of those women. Others don't notice much change. Sometimes it takes adjusting the dosage, and sometimes it takes adjusting or figuring out which delivery method works best for you. Sometimes it just doesn't work for your body, and that's okay too. But the only way to know is by starting the conversation and figuring out whether it's right for you. And here's something most doctors won't say, either because they don't have the time or they are uncomfortable talking about menopause. They might not tell you that it can take a few tries to get the dosage right. They might not explain that it's okay to stop and start again. They might also not ask how you are feeling emotionally. That's why it helps to go in prepared. Start by writing down everything you are going through, everything you've noticed, from your sleep changes to your mood shifts to your body aches to changes in your weight. Then make a short list of questions you want to ask. So you are not scrambling in the moment trying to think, oh, do I have to ask this or this or this? You can ask about different types of HRT, like pills, patches, gels, and which one might suit you the best. You can ask about the side effects, both common ones and the ones people don't always mention. And also ask about what are the first few weeks going to look like for you if you do decide to start it. If your doctor still brushes past your concerns or makes you feel small, that's a signal. You are allowed to find somebody else, and please find a doctor who's going to listen to you, because your emotional safety matters just as much as your physical health. You have every right to be taken seriously. You have every right to be understood and to understand your options clearly. And you deserve to feel steady in your body again. When I started HRT, it wasn't an overnight change, but slowly I began sleeping better. My energy started to return. My thinking felt more clearer, and gradually I started to feel more and more like myself again. And I often think about how long I waited, and I wish someone had told me earlier what I know now, for sure. And you don't need to keep pushing through just because that's what you've been told and you've done always. Asking for help doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you are paying attention and making a choice that supports you, your life, and your lifestyle. If that's where you're headed, the next small step is to download the Menopause Symptoms Relief Cheat Sheet, which you can find down in the description below. It's going to help you with all your symptoms, as I mentioned earlier. It has tips about brain fog, sleeping better, controlling your weight. And if you're wondering how your diet fits into all this, watch this video next, because what's on your plate matters just as much as what's in your prescription. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.